Hello everyone, Chris here, and a happy new year to you all. Thank you once again for coming back to the channel and checking out this, the latest episode of City Skylines, the city of Guvsk, our attempt to create a socialist modernist city using the ideas of urban planning from the Warsaw Pact nations during the 60s through to the 1980s. And yeah, welcome back. Today's episode, we're going to be looking at the coach station. This has been a big part of the city that I've wanted to do for a while, and actually the area itself becomes a lot bigger than I ever envisioned. It also took me, as usual, a long time to build because I destroyed and remade it several times. I'm quite happy with the end results, and hopefully you will be too. Before we get into that though, I just really want to thank everyone for the support of late. We broke 300 subscribers over the New Year period, which is awesome. I've had a few items out on the Steam Workshop which have like 1,000 subscribers. It's all a bit mad. I feel like we've made real strides a little bit in City Skylines, and for that I'm really grateful. So thank you for all your support. The coach station then. I've made a few items on Blender recently, and I've said that in the past, and I spent a good while thinking about what I wanted this building, the central station of the coach station, to look like, and I started making models on Blender, and I wasn't happy with any of them. I think in the end it came down to a decision over, I just wanted the building to look functional, so I ended up making this procedural objects model, I guess, using, I cannot remember the name of the asset, forgive me, but it's a East German supermarket, as well as the actual vanilla intercity bus station. Combining the two and adding a few props here and there, it kind of makes this really interesting but mainly functional looking building. I didn't want this building to be some grand architectural masterpiece. I just wanted it to look the part. There are many other focal point buildings in this part of the city that I kind of didn't want this to take away from. And in fact, by the end of the video, I have put down a model that I have made in Blender around this area, and that serves as much better focal point for the place. So as you can see, making some amendments to the building itself, I ended up putting this concrete block here because the texture itself looked a little bit stretched, and I didn't like it, but I wanted to keep the general shape of this building with the raised roof, so I did put a procedural objects block in there to add a concrete texture, which it turns out okay, as you'll see, hopefully, and agree with me. Then it was a matter of, I could not for the life of me get rid of these lettering at the top that said Intercity Bus Station. So the end result being that I covered it with a procedural objects concrete block, and then left the game and made a sign for it to cover it up, which you'll see in a minute. You're going to see now one of the first custom-made buildings that I actually made for this area. I was looking at the International Coach Station in Riga, and in the entrance to that coach station they have this little, I think it's a cafe, but it looks like a toll booth building. It looks brilliant, and so I tried to recreate it, and that's what you see right here. This is what I'm calling a toll booth building. It says in the appropriate language, it says Guvsk International Coach Station around the top of it. And yeah, this serves as like the entrance way to the coach station itself. It's great watching these videos back because everything is done in it's done in a matter of moments, isn't it? Like, look in this, it's like, oh yeah, I knew exactly what I wanted. I didn't. I built this 100 times over. The road network wasn't always this triangular shape. Once upon a time it was a rectangle, but you just change it up. I then feed these little tiny lanes in, and that's where the buses themselves will go. The big roads are the main roads for the buses to go around, and these little slip roads are where the buses will stop. The big bus shelters you see are another custom asset that I've made for the coach station. I'm really happy with how those turned out. They're not they're not overly complex, but they just add to the modernist architecture of this whole area. Well, then the question came to me: what do I do with this central area? And looking at, I researched a few coach stations, and there's a coach station in St. Petersburg which has a very similar looking shape to this one, and that one in the middle had just little trees in the middle. I kind of wanted something a little bit grander. Which got me thinking, if this is an international coach station, or if this is a coach station for intercity rather, we need a garage. We need some form of place for coaches to be fixed, get petrol, that type of thing. So I start making this, a little maintenance forecourt, as it were, using the Soviet petrol station off the steam workshop, and these warehouses at the back. As you're aware, I'm not massively into making photorealistic detail in this save. One, because I'm not very good at it, and two, because we're kind of just going for that. Someone said it in the comments in one of the previous episodes, this looks like a propaganda postcard rather than a realistic city, and you're totally right. Absolutely right. That is kind of what I'm going for. So I'm not in it for the massive detail, but I do put a few buses around just so you know what this area is, if that makes sense. Finishing off this little entrance area, then I use the road line tool to create this intersection at the entrance to the coach station. Yep, got my words out. I've said it before, that tool is absolutely wonderful. It just adds, it just makes areas look so, I don't know, so custom, so brilliant. So it's one of my favourite mods, and I thoroughly recommend it. Creating then a small side entrance into the coach station, I do make this into an actual path. People do walk through here and do access the coach station this way. I don't think you see it as well, but I do also make the coach station building itself functional. It does have a commercial bit inside there, so you will see people going in and out of it, which is great because it makes it look real, and that's kind of the point, isn't it, I guess? As I say, not a person for detail, but I did want the coach station itself to look functional. And so I do a bit more detailing around the coach station, but this, what you're seeing now, these are buildings from the it's the Japanese City DLC. I just thought they kind of looked the part in terms of generic office buildings that would be next to the coach station. I don't really have an idea of what their purpose is. Something functional for transport, I'm sure. And then adding curbs and decorating this area with the appropriate amount of greenery. I wanted this area as functional as it is. I still wanted it to be quite pretty. I still wanted there to be trees. I still wanted there to be flowers everywhere. This is people's first experiences of the city as they come in off the coach. I want them to think it's nice. As I say, not a person for detailing, but then I felt it was necessary to put a few stalls and stuff down. Again, it's more a case of practicality. If you were at a coach station, presumably there would be newspaper vendors there, or a little food court, or something like that. And then I made the mistake by accidentally deleting the ground texture before putting down an appropriate little kiosk and actually blending it into the building. I fear this episode is going to be a little bit of a long one, mainly because of the amount of footage that I captured and the amount of time it took to do this. The bus station itself is one part of this area, but as you'll see in a minute, I'm just looking there, that's me actually putting the intercity bus stops down. But as you'll see in a minute, there is more to this area than just this bus stop. It's all based around transport, but I kind of just want... I put a few more things in there just to fill out the... I suppose it's just to fill out the block area. One of the things that I find frustrating about like the forest brush is that, and there probably is a way to do this, and I just don't know because I'm not very clever at this game. But even when you have prop anarchy on, you can't paint over certain areas with the forest brush, and so you still have to place individual plants. That kind of frustrates me. You're seeing now me putting in the sign that I went off and made. It's a procedural object sign, so it is just a texture. But I like this. It's maybe a tad too bright, but it serves its purpose. I then finish it off by putting a little red star above it. I've said in the past that I don't... This is a Soviet city, but that doesn't mean that I want every single area to be covered in hammers and sickles and stuff, like, because the real life Soviet Union wasn't. Yeah, those things existed, but some areas were just neighborhoods. Want to give a quick shout out to Z Green Gaming, and I hope I've said your name right there, my friend. This I stole off their channel because the water surface tool, whatever, water surface, that's several episodes I've done that in a row now, where I just don't know the name of things. The water surface, if you double it up, it looks, it's less transparent, and it actually looks like water. It makes this clearly look like a little fountain area, which I didn't think of when I did the commercial area, so I have gone back through and just doubled up those surfaces to make it look obviously like water. So thank you to you, mate, for putting that in your video. I'll put a link to your channel in the bit below, because he's doing a really good save, really interesting stuff, and I'm not just saying that because you've put my buildings in your save. Really interesting looking city. Recommend you check it out, definitely. So, as I say, it's not just a coach station, this. I wanted other areas of transport to use this area like a hub, so I put down this taxi depot. All the taxis in the games are all larders, so that, they're appropriate. But I wanted this area to be a bit of a hub. There's a little police station in front as well, and it was just a matter of what would this taxi area have. It would have shelters. I thought it would have shelters with some cars just in the back. I quite like it, and also it gets us to have a little taxi rank outside the front of the coach station in a minute. And I don't know, I wanted taxis, and you need a taxi depot for the taxis to work, so I had to put it somewhere. So this is me actually putting in the aforementioned taxi ranks. We cut a little bit of the front off there, and as you'll see, put down the vanilla taxi ranks, but they work quite well as a place just outside the station for people. If they're not going to go get public transport, they can pick up a taxi here. It looks the part, I think. Then there was the question of what to do with this roundabout. This is another case of, oh, look, I knew exactly what I wanted to do all the time. I didn't. It was several different things before it was this. But this is a wonderful little, I think it's a cafe? It's very modernist anyway. It serves the function of being a little cafe in my city. Maybe a cafe, maybe an information centre. I don't know. What do you think it looks like? That's the question. But it works just in the centre of that roundabout as another little interesting architectural bit to the city. A few comments in the past have mentioned about the amount of car parks we have in this city, and how unrealistic it is. I recognise that. Soviet cities weren't known for having a massive amount of personal cars. Although, you know, there were quite a few. City Skylines doesn't account for that, I'm afraid. So I've got to keep an air of practicality and give parking spaces for people in it. This area, I just wanted to block off the rest of this bit, and I thought a nice green space opposite the Sports Palace would be good with a little path going through. We put down this little war memorial, just secluded and out the way. I think it's a simple area, but it looks quite nice. And this is the bit that I was excited about. This is my own building. This has been made for Istanbul. You'll remember from me mentioning his Soviet save in the last video. If you haven't checked out that channel yet, I thoroughly recommend you do. His channel will be in the link below. Please go and check it out. I reiterate again that his build of the city of Konstantinovsk. Yes, I think that's right. It's an alternate take on Kaliningrad. It is the best, like, realistic Soviet save I think I've seen. It really is. It's that good. I adore it. So please go and check it out. What I'm trying to say is this building I've actually made for him. I don't know the function that it's going to serve in his city. I'm not sure if it's something to do with fishermen. Who knows? It's based on a real building, but I'd put it in the game just to test it out before I was sending it over to him for his save, and it just ended up fitting the part quite nicely in this area. I make it into this, like, in my head, this is like the central administration area of, like, the transport of the region. All buses, everything, they're controlled from that building there. That's the admin block. That's where they all work. It looks like a public sector building, and that's the function it serves in my city. I don't know what function it will serve in Istanbul's save, but I'm sure whatever it is, it will look probably 10 times better than what I've done. But I love the building. I absolutely adore the building. And then across the road from it, I put down the car park for the people who work in the admin building. And then I put some more offices down. The building I just placed down is actually the museum outside the Soviet memorial in the Tiergarten in Berlin. It serves the function of being a little office area for me here, as will the buildings that I put around it. Again, I'm not quite sure on the practicalities of what they actually do, what their jobs are. I'll make up a reason if you like. But they look the part, and that's kind of what matters to me. I put down my coach station parking booth thing again, just for the car park for people going in. And then this is what we do. We put these, I believe they're called, like, socialist administration buildings. They're off the Steam workshop. They're brill. We put these down, and I don't know. I guess these are some other form of admin for transport. They look the part, and they make this area look absolutely wonderful. And of course, the flag of the Imaginariumese Imaginees. You know what? This fictional nation has existed for, like, the best part of 12 years for me, and I still just don't know how I'm just talking about it. But their flag there, and this is the final look. I hope you'll agree that this coach station it's good. I quite like it. It's functional. It isn't like massively complicated. It serves its purpose. It gets people to the centre of the city. I love it. I really love this whole area. And even the war memorial here, it's just a nice bit. I like how it all ties together. You'll know by now that the cinematics at the end of one of these videos means we're nearing the end. As always, I'd love your suggestions on what we can do next. I'm in two minds next whether to go with building the park area or building an area around like a theatre. Tell me what you'd like to see next, and I'll go with what the majority want me to do. But thank you once again for supporting this channel. Thank you again for all your support in 2020, and I hope that 2021 I'm able to keep producing videos that you all enjoy. I'm going to shut up now. But thank you. Please like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. But mainly, stay safe until the next Guvsk video is out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the future.